Okay.
Okay, well, unfortunately, there was one screw here in the center, which had to be taken out, and this is what we ended up with as the remedy for the problem, a universal, so that we can actually get down in there from afar, because there's no way that you can get your hand in here. We're able to get one hand in from the back, and then get the tool in from right here, and then get it onto the screw, and actually go ahead and undo the screw from right here to get the third screw out. I was holding all of this in. And now, for the pièce de résistance, we will attempt for the third time. And you want to get down here. Why don't you get down here so you can watch what I'm doing down underneath here. And we will attempt for the third time now.
Oh, she's loose now.
To remove the stack. And as I had mentioned before, we twist it out, pull it down, get it out on one side here. We just lay it on ourselves here. You have to be really careful with these stickers. Okay. Lay this down. Really careful with these stickers. Make sure they all stay in their grooves, and I'm going to show you why now. The other light here. Okay, I want you to get a close-up of this. Okay, I want you to shoot right down here and look at all of these little pieces of felt underneath here. I want to get a nice... Don't get too close. It's actually better to get further away and zoom in. Okay, but I just want you to look at these. And what you can see is that there's different thicknesses. You see the different thicknesses of felt. There's this thickness, and then there's this thickness, and then there's another piece. And you look a little further, you can get down over here. You can see there's a different thickness there. And like this one right here is a good example, okay, of one that's got three different pieces of felt on it as compared to one. It's because these sticks aren't all the same height. Now what I'm going to do when I get it back to the shop, I don't have my long ruler with me at the time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a long ruler that goes over the entire span of this, and I'm going to lay it on here, and I'm going to make sure that all of these rods are exactly the same height. I don't know whether you can see this. You might have to zoom in on this, but you can see right here that these stickers, just these four right here, I'm pressing down on it, and you can see the space between this one and this one. Well, actually, you can see, I mean, there's so much of a difference in the height of these two that you can see the difference in the height on these two right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put different pieces of felt, which are actually much more refined in terms of their thickness. We're going to put those in there so that all of these stickers are within 5/1000ths of an inch of the same height from one end to the other, so that when we put it back in, they're going to marry up with the key bed, and there's not going to be that 1/16th of an inch of difference on one key and 1/8 of an inch of a difference on another key, that they'll all be at the same height. These are the screws. Actually what they did, I'm trying to see how these screws went in here, because this is what they did. They've got these eye hooks. These eye hooks right here are what we had to take these screws out of in order to get this stack out. Another thing you can see here, as long as I've got this here. You can see the black dust right on here. This is for the these two valves here for the automatic sustain, and there's a lot of air that flows through there. And actually, if you look at these, the difference in the coloration, you can see that right here in the center of the piano, where the most of the notes on a player piano roll would be played, you can see this dust. Whereas down here, there's virtually none at all, because these notes down here hardly ever get played. And the same thing is true on the other end, where up here the notes hardly ever get played, and so consequently there's very little dust. It actually shows you get actually a graphic representation of how often notes are played on this particular piano. You can actually tell by looking at the coloration of the felt here. And as is common, because of all of the sharp edges, you see, I never go away uninjured. Okay, what we're going to do last here to make sure that these sticker rods stay in exactly the same place as the unit gets transported, because these are only held in, and there's only little nails, okay? I don't know if you can zoom in on this. Okay, you can zoom in on this right here. You see that there's just these little nails. They're just little finishing nails put into a rod right here, and they just slip into a hole, and they slip in and out of these holes very, very easily. So, and if they get mixed up, I mean, getting them back in order is ridiculously time-consuming. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to take our trusty tape and tape each section, because these are actually in 3 sections, so we're going to tape each section here. So that these won't accidentally come out of their grooves during transport. And that, my friends, is how we remove the stack in the Universal. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put these brackets on. These brackets so that it can sit up. Right. And now, she's ready for transport.